welcome back, lovely people, to the Sisterhood in Session podcast. Already been having a gorgeous chat with today's guest, who I've been getting to know a little bit recently because we're hanging out in an exclusive club together, which I'm sure we will bring up at some point during our chat. But Janet and Gourand, you are very welcome to the podcast, my lovely.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me, Sarah. It's a
Oh,
pleasure. As you said,
ah,
we're on the same WhatsApp
we
group
we
in
are, we
a
are.
network, but we've never had a conversation before. So it'll be
We
nice for me to
haven't. We
get to know
haven't. And
you.
I love that our first proper chat is here on the
Yeah.
Sisterhood in Session podcast. I think we're going to have a really interesting conversation. And I'm very much looking forward to sharing your story with my listeners. But before we get started, would you just introduce yourself? Tell everybody a little bit about what you do now, and then we will rewind the clock back and go back in time.
Okay. Well, I'm a Brit and I live in Cape Town, South Africa. And I live here because 25 years ago, I came on holiday to Cape Town. I was living in London and it was miserable weather, and I decided that I wanted to get away for Christmas somewhere nice. So I said to my poor, long-suffering husband, I found this nice spa that we can go to in South Africa. The weather will be beautiful. What do you think? So he said, well, can't we just go down the road to Champneys or something? And I said, no, I've got to have the
Quicker and
sunshine.
cheaper, some might say. Yeah.
So we came and we saw, and we had our treatments, 10 days of being pampered, which was wonderful, and sunshine. And then we had a day where nothing much was happening. We weren't flying till the next day. So we got a driver and we said, oh, show us around. We don't really know where we are. So he did. And I was just gobsmacked by the beauty here. And then we got to this little yacht club, and my husband's a sailor. So he said, oh, let's go and have a look in there. So we did, and we talked to them. And then we were just getting back in the car, and I saw an estate agent. And I was looking in the window and I was thinking, wow, because I was used to London house prices. So this was kind of blowing my mind what amazing properties you can get down here for an affordable price. So we just had a look round at some houses, and then the next day we went home, and that was it. But it was there. You know what it's like when you get a seed of something and you start
Yes.
thinking, I wonder what my life would be like. Because we
Ah,
were both corporate people, but we were getting a bit over, having a boss and
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
corporate politics. And we both knew that we would want to do something different, and the kids had left home. So there was nothing stopping us. So we decided to move. So that's why I'm
Okay.
in South Africa. Sorry, a bit of a
That's
mouthful there.
that's okay. You've given away some of your story already. Let's tell everybody what you do now, and then you can tell us how far back in time you want to go to explain how you've ended up there and what's led you, yeah, to this point in time.
Sure. Well, what I do now is I lead Tribe Sober, which is an organization I started in 2015, which was by no coincidence at all the year that I stopped drinking, because I needed a community, and I tried AA and some other ones, but nothing was really working for me. And I didn't like the methods that I was coming across. So I did some research. I created my own method. I actually went to a 1 day workshop back in London and met some lovely ladies there who were like me, they had good jobs, nice families, etc. And they weren't rock bottom, they hadn't lost everything yet, but they were drinking a bottle of wine every night, more at the weekends, and they knew they couldn't carry on like that. So we had a little WhatsApp group. I came back to South Africa and I got sober, and we must have talked every single day for a month or two. And then gradually, I started to feel so much better, so much happier, and so much healthier. And I decided to change direction completely, because I'd always been a corporate, work hard, play hard kind of person. That's why I had a drinking problem.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
too much playing hard. And I decided that I was going to help other people to do what I'd done. And that was the best decision. Well, the best decision was to quit drinking. The second best decision was to set up Tribe Sober because these days I feel as if I've got my purpose in life.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
genuinely helping people.
Oh, I love that. We're going to delve deeper into that, and yeah, and how it all came about, the specifics as we chat. But let's find out more about your story. I'm intrigued with the corporate side of things because it is a massive shift, isn't it? From
Mm,
corporate life to being self-employed and running your own business and
yeah,
all the
yeah,
challenges that
massive.
come with that. But tell us, where back in time do you want to start your story? Some people take us right back to childhood and how, what they did at school and that kind of thing. Or some people want to, fast track us straight through to getting their first job. Where are you going to take us, Janet?
I'll take you to my 20s, but I'm going to kind of skim across the decades, as it were. But in my 20s, I had a very interesting job at the BBC. I was
Oh.
a production assistant and I loved it. And I worked on the African service, which is so bizarre where I am now in life, because I actually
Ah,
had no knowledge, no particular interest in Africa, but I got transferred there. And it was a daily show, so it was very vibey, and I just loved the energy there, and I actually learned quite a lot about Africa.
what did your job entail? What did you have to do?
Well, you'll be jealous when I tell you. Well, every morning we used to get all of the newspapers. Do you remember? Well, you are you old enough to remember
I
newspapers?
am old enough. Believe it or not, Janet, I'm going to be 55 this year. So yeah, I
Wow.
am
Okay.
old
Well,
enough.
you know what a newspaper is. We used to get a big stack of them, and it was partly my job to go through all these papers and find news, anything kind of with an African tinge. And one of the nicer parts of my job was to find out what celebrities were in town. And we'd have a kind of printout from this agency of who was in London on that day. And I could literally pick up this agency and say, we'd like to interview so and so today or so and so today. And I was crazy about soul music in those days,
Ah,
Tanya
love soul music.
Motown. So basically, I used to invite those kind of guys in and we would interview them. I would do some of the interviews myself, they let me, and I would edit them afterwards.
Ah, how old
So
were
that
you when this was happening?
20s, 25-ish.
Oh God, just
Yeah.
peak time for,
Yeah.
partying and hanging
Oh, wow.
out.
Was I
That,
partying? Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I mean, the partying really started when I left England and went to live in the south of France for 3 years, 4 years, I think it was. When I was 18, I decided that I would go and be an au pair girl and learn French. So I did. I went over there for 3 months and loved it so much that I couldn't face coming back to the UK. So I was supposed to be coming back to the UK to go to university. I'd got a place, but I didn't. I stayed. Mother still hasn't forgiven me, I don't think. So I stayed there, but that was, south of France in the 70s. That was crazy. So
oh,
drinking, drinking, partying, partying,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
BBC, work hard, play hard.
It's
And then I got,
kind of it comes with the culture a little bit though, do you think?
oh yeah,
Yeah, it's almost an expectation that that's what
yeah,
you have to get involved in.
yeah. I hope it's not as bad these days because people are becoming a little bit more health conscious, I think, about alcohol. But in those days, if you didn't partake, you were seen as some kind of weirdo. So I just
I
went
know
along with the flow.
we didn't understand though, did we,
No,
back then?
I had no
I
idea that
yeah.
alcohol was linked to 7 types of cancer,
No,
etc.
absolutely. I have an ironic story to chuck into the mix there, which I have shared on here before. That if you're a regular listener, you'll know I used to be in performing arts. I used to be a professional dancer,
Yeah.
and I left home at 18, travelled the world up to the age of 25. And the irony of what you think would be super healthy, fit,
Yeah.
looking after ourselves, making sure we're in tip-top condition. No, we spent most of our time absolutely bladdered. Like
Yeah.
after every show, it was
Yeah.
party time. We'd
Yeah.
finish quite often in the early hours, and then it would be right, what club are we going to? Who are we hanging out with? And how much can we drink? So
Yeah.
I can completely identify with
Yeah.
that lifestyle. And the expect, if I was to say, oh, I don't really fancy going out tonight, I would get the, what are you talking about? Of course you're coming out. Don't
Mm,
be ridiculous.
yeah.
And
You'll
you
feel
have
better when you've had a couple of drinks.
exactly that. Exactly that. It is very much yeah, embedded in those kinds of jobs and roles, isn't it? I think that it comes with a social life and an expectation.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, I do hope, like you said, that things are different now, although
Yeah.
I suspect possibly not. But anyway, carry on the story. So I have to ask you a question first of all, though. Tell us your top interview. Did you interview anyone like super famous, really interesting? Can you drop a
Um,
name in? Just give us a name.
well, Bobby Womack, I was a big fan of his, Barry White,
Oh,
people like that. We had the Beach Boys in one day and um,
oh.
Chuck
Were they
Berry.
genuinely as nice and as fun and as lovely to interview
Yeah,
as you would imagine they would be?
yeah, they wanted, a good interview because it was about their publicity.
Of course, of course. There's always that
Yeah.
expectation, isn't there? Yeah. So yeah, carry on the story. So production assistant, BBC.
Yeah, that was lovely. And then I got married to my first husband at the age of 30, and he was a big drinker as well. Surprise, surprise. I think I
Um,
met him in a bar. And
kind
then
of.
I had my son. I managed to stop drinking for 9 months when I was pregnant, but it was a struggle. But I
Yeah.
did and had my son. And then I got into the mummy juice culture. So hanging out with other moms and moaning about how exhausting it was being a parent.
Yes.
And wine became a parenting aid, really, in those
Yeah,
days
it's a
for the
crutch, isn't
stress.
it? To get you
Yeah.
through what's a really challenging period, isn't it?
So yeah, those were the mommy juice years.
The
And
mummy
then
juice, yes.
and then I got divorced. I managed first marriage was 15 years, so that wasn't too bad. But then
Oh,
I met somebody else, so got divorced after 15 years. And my second husband is French. This is where the Gourand comes from.
yes.
And he didn't approve of all this boozing that the English girls did, of course. He didn't understand it really. They don't do that in France,
That's
they tend
interesting
to.
because I would have that perception that, the French are drinking wine like from the minute they wake up till the minute they go to bed.
No.
Surrounded by grapes. Surely it goes hand in hand for French people that, they wake up and they've
No,
got a
no.
glass of
Obviously,
wine.
there's plenty of alcoholics in France, but
Not
most
the
of
one
them
you were
don't.
married to.
Not mine, no. I mean, he would have a glass of very good wine occasionally, but it
Yes.
had to be good wine, whereas I would drink any old plonk because I was after the buzz, I didn't care
Yeah,
about the
of course.
quality.
Didn't matter what it was. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't like my drinking and he would, say things like, "Oh, just can't you just cut down a bit, darling?"
Mm.
He'd say, "When we go out tonight, why don't you just have 2 glasses of wine? You don't have to have 6."
I
And
was
I
just going to
really used
ask
to
you
try.
how much was too much for you? What was the regular consumption on a daily basis?
Well, if I was at home, a bottle, and if I went out, probably more.
Oh. And
But
did it give you the desired effect? Because you're looking for that buzz, you're looking, for
yeah,
it to.
well, drugs being what they are, I mean, alcohol's a drug, and
Mm.
the effect wears off, and you have to have more and more to get the buzz. And eventually, towards the end of my drinking, it was all over the place. I could drink 2 bottles of wine and feel nothing, or I could have 1 glass of wine and feel quite tipsy. Your tolerance goes to pot really if you've had
Yeah.
too much for too many years. So this husband, because I wanted to stay with him, I made a huge effort to cut down. I never thought about not drinking. I thought, well, I mean, how does that even work, not drinking?
Mm.
So I tried to cut down and I looked up the so-called low risk limits. There's this thing you've got in the UK called Drink Aware. And according to them, 1.5 bottles of wine a week is a low risk limit. But I was putting that away a day normally. So I really tried hard and I had a little notebook and I used to, every unit that I had, I used to make a little mark. And I really tried hard, but I was white knuckling it, using willpower. And I could sometimes get as many as 2 weeks in at that level. and then I would have to drink to black out, and the wheels would come off, and then we'd have a huge row, and then we'd go back again. So I call those the moderation years. I mean, the whole of my 50s were the moderation years.
Mm.
And during my 50s, I got breast cancer, which we now know is linked to heavy drinking. But I
Yeah.
didn't
Sorry.
actually know then. It was 2006, and people didn't talk about it. So I didn't realize. And in fact, I probably drank a bit more because I was worried about dying then. Any excuse.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, that my 50s were hard.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
so many reasons to drink. Which I
yeah,
imagine is common for a lot
yes,
of
yeah,
people. You drink to, numb the pain from things you're going through,
yeah.
forget about experiences that you've had. There's so, there's an endless list for some people of reasons why they should pick up that bottle, whatever time of day it might
Yeah,
be.
it becomes your coping mechanism for everything, whether it's good or bad or I had my corporate career was bumbling along. I was at that time I was an HR director. I kind of retrained in my 30s in HR and yeah, I had some great jobs. I was at Christie's Auction House for 8 years as their HR director, which was great fun and
Oh,
very educational.
imagine. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
I used to travel globally for that and take people out, the specialists that we wanted to nurture and stop for going to Sotheby's. I used to take them
Yeah.
out, make sure they were happy. So that was a lovely job, very stressful, but good.
Yeah. But
Yeah, and then
presumably
I got
the drinking came along with
oh,
that as well, because you're socializing, the pressure, the
Of course.
stress.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't have said to those high-flying people that we were desperate to keep working for us, I couldn't have said, oh, we'll just drink water this lunchtime. They
That's
definitely would have
interesting.
left then.
Yeah, but that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Because, and I suppose maybe it's, nowadays it's so much more accepted to
yeah,
not be
yeah,
drinking.
yeah.
I gave up drinking just over a year ago, and I found the whole process very easy to do. I wasn't a heavy drinker. I stopped drinking because of my hormones, and it was making my heart race and giving me really crazy heart palpitations. And I just wasn't drinking that much. So I thought,
Mm,
well, actually, do you know what? There's just if it's making me feel rubbish after 2 drinks, I might as well just not bother.
absolutely.
So
And
stopped. But
I'm sure your heart rate's gone down now,
oh,
hasn't
it
it?
has. I don't get heart
Yeah,
and I've stopped drinking caffeine as well because it has the same effect.
yeah.
It sends my hormones crazy. But now if I'm in a social situation and I say I'm not drinking, it's very easy to
Mm,
join in, but in a non-alcoholic way because there are so many
yeah,
more options now. But
really good ones.
isn't
Yeah.
that it's awful, isn't it? In some respects, that and you can jokingly say it, and we can laugh about how the fact that it was unacceptable to not have alcohol at lunch with prospective clients.
Yeah.
But when you actually listen to yourself saying that, you think, hang on, how is that possible? Surely I have the autonomy to be able to say, hang on a second, for me, I'm not drinking. You will drink, but I'm not going to. But that just wasn't what happened back
No, no.
then, was it?
We always say in Tribe Sober that alcohol's the only drug we have to justify not taking. Because if you
Yeah.
give up cocaine or heroin or cigarettes, everybody thinks you're wonderful. But
Yes.
give up alcohol, and there's still people that say, well, why don't you drink? They don't
Yeah, and
like it at all.
it's a funny old topic, isn't it? For some people, I think it just reflects back on them, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
maybe their own relationship with alcohol and what it means to them to drink, and the fact that maybe they couldn't do what you've done. So then they feel guilty, jealous, lots of emotions. I'm imagining it brings up. But yeah, it's such an I'm going to say interesting topic. Obviously, there's lots of lots of other things that you could use to describe it, but everyone's experience is different, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, since I've been running Tribe Sober, which is 11 years now, and having this weekly podcast, I've interviewed so many scientists and doctors, and
Yeah.
because when you've got a podcast, you can just ring up people and so, or not ring up, people don't ring up anymore, but I mean,
Reach out
you
to
can
people,
reach out and say,
whatever
"Oh, will you come on
whatever
my
modality you've
podcast?"
got.
and talk about your new book.
Yeah.
I interviewed Anna Lemke the other day, and she's the author of a book called Dopamine Nation, which is a huge bestseller. And she's wonderful. She's a professor at Stanford, and there's no way I could have talked to her for an hour if I didn't have a podcast. So,
Yeah.
because of the podcast, I've talked to all these people and I've learned so much. And
Uh,
I'm
I
still
can
not
totally
bored.
identify with that because it's exactly the same for me. And the
Yeah,
fact that we're talking today, yeah, it's an absolute treat to be sharing your story with everybody. So let's just continue your journey and then we'll really delve into
okay.
Tribe Sober and you can tell me exactly how it came about and what it means to you. And we can talk about the trials and tribulations of running it as a business because we all know that all the different hats you have to wear, you don't really expect that when you start a business. So
No,
we'll delve
especially if
into
you've been
that.
in corporate where other people do everything and then you just get
Exactly.
paid at the end of the month. I mean,
Yeah. So
that would be a
catch us
miracle.
up. So you worked for Sotheby's, you're in your 50s. Um,
Christie's, please.
oh,
They
Christy,
were the
sorry.
enemies.
Not Sotheby's, Christie's. Yeah, and you're in your 50s. And then when did it get to the point when you were looking in that estate agent window in South Africa? Catch us right up.
Yeah, I was kind of late 50s by then. And yeah, we came over here, and for 10 years, I was an HR consultant here, which was great. It was very interesting. So that was my first taste of working on my own. So I had to learn how to sell myself because you don't have to do that in corporate, not if you're in HR anyway.
Yeah.
So that was tricky, but I had a coach, and she helped me get over that. I remember she said to me, because I said, "Oh, I hate selling. I hate the thought of selling." So she said, "You have to understand that selling is in something like you're doing. It's about creating relationships, and it is.
It
And
is.
since
I love that.
that was a huge kind of mental block that I had. So once I realized it was just about talking to people and they either
Yeah.
liked me or they didn't, and if they didn't, that was fine, and go and talk to someone else. I just got over the block. So yeah, I worked in lots of interesting companies here and really learned more about the country and obviously the transformation side of it. And I would have fun going in. I would do assessments in companies and then I would go into boardrooms and present to them and tell them, they were all too male and too white and they had to have a bit of diversity going. So, because when you're a consultant, you have projects and you just finish the project. You don't have to kind of tiptoe around
You don't have to
people and
answer to anyone. You
politics.
can just get in there,
I
fire
know.
everything at them, and then get out and don't have to face the consequences.
Exactly. You just leave them with it and tell them what to do and say, now you fix it. I'm off.
I'm off. See you later. Here you go. I love
Yeah,
it.
so I did that, and the drinking went on because there's a huge culture here, just as there is in the UK and most countries in the world of drinking. And I live in the middle of wine country here, of course, the Western Cape. So it would just be a normal weekend to go to wine farms and wine tasting, as they call it here, which just seems to mean downing 6 glasses of different kinds of wine. It's
Yeah.
nothing like spitting it out like the real connoisseurs do. So yeah, the drinking got worse. Husband got more irritated with my drinking. So I did the moderation years. And then when I was 63, I had this horrific blackout. I mean, over the years, obviously, I'd had the kind of blackouts that things were a bit blurry at the end of the evening, and you'd wake up next morning and think, "Where's my handbag? Where's my jacket? And
Yeah. Well,
am
we've
I
all,
am I
yeah,
all
I think,
present and
yeah.
correct?" Yeah, just blurry endings.
Yeah. Vague recollections of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got you.
But this one was serious because it was we were away for a weekend with friends and it was quite a boozy weekend apart from my poor husband. They were all quite big drinkers. And then on Sunday morning I woke up feeling terrible, which was nothing different to the usual Sunday morning. And then we were all having breakfast together, and I was pretending, that I was fine because that's
Yeah.
what you do if you're British. The stiff upper lip was out, and
Of course.
I said, "Oh, I've heard there's really nice house in the next village that we can rent next time we come out here. Why don't we go and have a look at it?" And there was this strange hush, I'll never forget it. And somebody said, Janet, we did that yesterday, and you were with us, and you were walking, and you were talking, and you seemed absolutely
Oh,
fine.
wow.
So that's what we call in the trade a walking, talking blackout.
My
And this,
goodness. How did
you
that
know,
how did that make you feel?
oh, terrible, terrible. It really frightened me because
Yeah.
by that time I knew that I was destroying myself, really.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was, my body wasn't thanking me for it. I'd been through breast cancer after all.
Of course.
But at 63, you start thinking, I'm attacking my brain now. Because what happens with these blackouts is that your brain is so soaked in alcohol, it can't even make memories in the first place. It's not that you forgot stuff. You never had those memories. And
Yeah.
for some reason, that really woke me up and frightened me. And I said to husband the next day when we got home, I said, that's it, I'm done with alcohol. And he said, to be fair, I've never heard you say that before. You always say, I'm going to cut down, I'm going to drink
Yeah.
less. And I said, I just know that I've got to stop. And that was the year that I stopped.
And so how did you get sober? Was it I'm going to stop and just stopped? Because presumably your body had to detox and
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
was the process like?
Well, I went to AA and didn't like it at all. I hated labeling myself as an alcoholic every week, even though obviously I was, but
Yeah.
I don't agree with labels, and I think it's bad for your soul,
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
that used to annoy me straight away. And then I remember talking to someone sitting next to me and saying, "Oh, how long have you been sober?" And she said, "Oh, 35 years." And I said, "Oh, and you still come to meetings?" She said, "Oh,
Oh,
yeah."
wow.
I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to meetings, these dreary meetings, especially for the rest of my life. And there were a lot of people there further down the road than I was. And it was quite male orientated here in South Africa. So
Yeah.
I thought, oh, this doesn't suit me. So as I said at the beginning, I went to this meeting in London, and that was great because I met these nice ladies. And then I just carried on, and it was hard, and it was very
Mm.
hard.
Mm.
But I was determined. I knew that I had to choose life, really. I was at a
Yeah.
crossroads. I either carry
Yeah.
on, lose my husband, lose my home, my life, everything.
And
Um,
eventually it could kill you.
oh, of course it
You
could.
were
Yeah,
fast tracking that, weren't you?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I was happy. Surprise! I had everything. What right did I have to want to destroy myself? Because
Yeah.
I've been very blessed. I've got
Yeah. Yeah.
nice husband, a nice son, a chihuahua, a nice house. I mean, what more could a woman want? Sunshine
Uh,
sometimes. So yeah, I made the choice, and it was really tough in those early days. But because I had my little group of ladies, English ladies, I was all right. They all kept me on
Oh,
track.
I love that. And that, we're good, us girls, aren't we? When it comes to community and having one
Yeah,
another's backs, that's literally what I do for a living now with the
yeah,
Sisterhood Networking Group is providing that safe space for business owners to connect and support one another. And yeah, us girls know how to look after each other, don't
yeah.
we? No offense,
Community
boys,
is
if you're
everything.
listening, but
Yeah,
us girls really we want to be there for each other. It's like it's in our DNA that if we need that support, we will rally round and do whatever is needed and whatever it takes to to support one another. So I'm really glad that you had a lovely, or you still have, I'm assuming, a lovely group of ladies that
well, I've got my tribe sober now, so
yes. So
that
talk to us about how that came about. Did you wake up one day and go, right, this is what I'm going to do? Or did it were you kind of, dwelling on it for a bit and then it became a reality? How did Tribe Sober come about?
I woke up one morning feeling very depressed and thinking, I've been sober now for 5 months and I feel really miserable, and my drinking buddies don't talk to me anymore, and I'm so bored and I've got so much time on my hands. And if this grey, miserable place is where I'm going to live for the rest of my life, I think I might just have a drink. I was on the verge.
Oh no.
But that I would kind of power through because husband kept telling me how proud he was of me. My son was proud of me. I was blogging about sobriety, how wonderful it was. I was thinking, what happens to my blog? So I thought, I can't give up now. And I just kept going, kept going.
That's
And then,
amazing. Can I just say that, you had it's coming at you from all sides, and there was lots of reasons to have a drink, but you chose not
yeah,
to, which is incredible.
yeah, well, I guess I'd painted myself into a corner really with the people being proud of me. I didn't want to let them
Yeah.
down.
But
So,
that's human nature, isn't it? Not wanting to let people down.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's literally how most of us feel if we're faced with that kind of situation. And when you've got people cheerleading for you, that voice in your head is louder, isn't it? I'm not going to let people down. I'm going to keep going. So it's
Very
amazing.
much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I realize now with everything that I know about sobriety that I was in what we call in Tribe Sober, we have a name for it. We call it the early sobriety blues. Because if you've been relying on alcohol for decades to make you feel good, even just for years, not as long as I was, and then you stop it, your brain has to recalibrate because your dopamine receptors have got very lazy over the years because they've thought, oh well, she's going to have that chemical. I don't need to make her happy.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
they get lazy, and then they do wake up naturally eventually, but it takes a few months. And I didn't know that back then. I just thought, oh well, this is sobriety, yawn, yawn.
Yeah.
But gradually, I began to feel a lot more chirpy and I started to have ideas. I was feeling very creative. I used to walk a lot in those days and, well, still do. But on my walks, I would start having ideas and so many ideas that I would have to keep stopping and writing them in my phone in case I forgot. But one of the ideas was maybe I can start a community using the skills that I developed in corporate life because I've designed and facilitated numerous workshops, as we used to call them, in corporates for management skills usually. And and I was an executive coach as well, so I thought I could coach, I could design workshops, and I could build a community. So I had the idea, and then I'm quite brave. Once I've got an idea, I just go for it. And I think, if people think I'm mad, then fine. But
Sounds like
that's
me,
what,
Janet. I'm literally the
yeah,
exact same as you. I'm like, say yes and then figure out how you're going to make it happen
exactly.
afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's a very good strategy. So I decided that I would put an ad in Facebook for a one-day workshop on how to moderate or quit drinking. And I put the moderate in there because if you go to a workshop about moderating your alcohol intake, it means you've got a problem, really. And that's
Yes.
the first thing I would say to them, because people that can moderate, they moderate. Alcohol's not even on their radar.
Yeah.
So obviously, if anyone came to this workshop, I would tell them that. So
Yes.
that's what I called it. And within 24 hours, it was fully booked.
Oh, wow.
That was in here in Cape Town. And I thought, my God, I better design this thing now because I hadn't got it ready or anything. I wasn't sure anybody
But
would be interested.
I love that as well. And quite often, the advice is if you're launching something, is to put it out into the universe first
Yeah,
and then work out what it's going to look like afterwards. So I
exactly.
love that you did that. I was slightly concerned that there's apparently a lot of alcoholics in Cape Town. My goodness, the fact that you sold it out like within, practically minutes. That's amazing though. I mean, that must have given you such a boost and such confidence
Yeah.
that you were onto something.
Yeah. So I did it and it was great. And I met some lovely people there. And then I started doing them in Joburg and Durban. And then I ran a couple in London. So the workshop was the thing. And
Yeah.
then people that came to workshops, they kept saying to me, we need to stay connected because we want to stay connected with you. We want more content from you. And more than anything, we want to stay connected to each other. So I thought, well, the only way I can do that is via a membership. So I built a membership, Tribe Sober membership. And we've got some, people from all over the world now because, of course, COVID came along a few years after I
Scuppered
started
some
it.
plans. Yeah.
So no more physical workshops. I stopped them all for obvious reasons, and I thought, well, let me try them online. And
Yeah.
I wasn't very hopeful because our workshops that I used to run, people would be crying and hugging each other, and they were terribly emotional for
Of
obvious reasons.
course. Yeah, yeah.
Because a lot of these women had never said out loud, how unhappy alcohol was making them and how they had a problem and how trapped they felt. So
Yeah.
there was a huge relief just saying that out loud and then meeting other people with the same problem because you feel like you're broken, like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah,
But
and you're
when
the
you
only person in the world that feels
exactly,
like that, is going through the same thing. So being in that room together with like-minded people,
yeah,
yeah, it does open the floodgates. I have a very similar experience sometimes with my meetings, bringing business owners together for the first time, because sometimes it will be the first time that someone has ever said out loud, I run this business, and the reason I do it is because of this. And normally they come up against negativity. Their husband thinks they're mad. Their family think they should get a job at Tesco. Why would you want to start your own business? That's ridiculous. Do something where you're going to get a wage, blah, blah, blah. So you sit at a table with women that are all doing what you do,
mhm,
and not only giving you permission to do it, but going, go you, you're amazing.
yeah,
And then,
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
the floodgates open, and it does, being surrounded by supportive people,
yeah.
it gives
And
you that
there's such a power in vulnerability, and
100%.
women are very good at that. Once they're
We
in the
are.
right crowd, we'll tell each other anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wasn't sure, as I said, how it would work on Zoom. I thought, well, what's going to happen? But in fact, people cry in my Zoom meetings just as they used to. We can't
Yeah.
hug anymore, but we send virtual hugs to each other,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it works. And the bonus, of course, is that we've now got people from all over the world who come to our workshops. And then I started the podcast in COVID as well. So that got us loads of members from UK and US as well. So
Hmm.
that made us global, really, COVID. So even though it was obviously a tragedy for many people, it
Yes.
helped me to pivot my business in a direction that I never would have thought of.
And the same for me.
Yeah,
I think, as you've rightly said, it was a very sad and traumatic time for a lot of people, but for many people, it
yeah,
allowed them to stop, pause, reflect, think about where their lives were going and what was happening. And I qualified as a menopause coach during that time, which would
right.
never have happened if things had gone on as they were. I just had the time to really reflect on what was happening with me, got trained, got qualified, and then thought, I just want to pay this forward and help other people, quite similar in some respects to what
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
doing.
that's wonderful. You can come on my podcast and talk
Oh,
about
I would love to. Yeah,
menopause and
definitely.
alcohol and how it
Yeah,
makes it worse.
yeah, yeah. Because there's lots to discuss. So yeah, well, we can have like a part two, and I'll come on yours.
Yes.
But I'm just so happy for you, for all of the reasons, for the fact that you got through it in one piece. Still married, still married.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Better
yay.
than ever because he's still proud of me.
Oh, and I love that. And having someone supportive by your side, whether it's a best friend or
Mm.
your husband or your partner, it can make all the difference, can't it? I have a lovely one of those as well, who is my sounding board and my voice of reason. We're quite different in some respects. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
very I'm
yeah.
very heart-led and very, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. And he's very analytical, needs all the details, will slow me down and make me reflect on things a bit better. But yeah, having that your person,
Mm.
and particularly someone saying that they're proud of you, it makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we're almost out of time. But so how long has Tribe Sober been up and running now?
11 years.
My goodness, that's amazing. What does the future hold? What have you got any sort of hopes and dreams for what it's going to look like in the future, or are you just happy with, offering the workshops and that much needed support to people?
Yeah, I mean, we do workshops and challenges, and we've got a team of coaches, and yeah, we do lots of things. And I've just written a book, so that's why I'm in the our group
Yeah,
because
yeah. Let's quickly reference our group because we're talking, yeah, together. And if it wasn't for the group, you and I, our paths probably wouldn't have crossed.
no,
So let's reference Miss Lovely Carol Driver, who
absolutely.
she's been a guest on this podcast before. So you can hear Carol's story. If you track back through previous episodes, you'll find Carol. She was very early on, so you might have to go back away. But
Yeah, I think I might have listened to it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, she's just
yeah,
the best. So Carol
great.
and I actually live in the same county in Essex,
Right.
and she's not too far away from me. But she is absolutely brilliant, PR expert, journalist, and she's brought us together to be part of a new club that she's launched called the Consistency Club. So we're founder members of the club, and she's helping us. Yeah, with our PR, which is super exciting. Lots of lovely opportunities being put our way, and she's making us work hard, right? As well, Janet.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, it is hard work, the PR side, but I never could have afforded or would have bothered to get my PR person. I mean, that seemed completely over the top. But I think how we do it is really makes a lot of sense. So I'm very
Yeah.
grateful
Yeah. No,
to
she's been
Carol.
amazing. And she really analyzes your business, the kind of angles that you should be pursuing when it comes to seeking out PR and making you confident in pitching to
Yeah.
to journalists, because I think we can second guess ourselves a little bit, or maybe we just don't quite know how to go about it or who to approach. And
No, I didn't. I didn't have a clue. It was quite interesting when I started my thing in South Africa. I got a lot of PR. People, the TV stations and the radio stations would ring me up and ask for interviews because
amazing.
they were just intrigued by this strange foreign woman that was telling everybody not to drink.
Not to
It was her
drink anymore.
story. So I had quite a flurry when I was new, and anyway, that kind of died down. But now, because of the book that I've written, and I'm going to do a launch in London, I wanted to raise my profile in London,
Of
so in
course.
England. So
Yay.
that's what Carol's helping me do. And I'm in the Daily Mail in 2 weeks' time, and
That's so
I've had
exciting. Tell us what the book's called.
the book is called Tribe Sober, Your
Makes
90
sense.
Day Reset. So
Oh,
it's a manual, really. I mean, it's not my story, it's not a memoir. Might
no.
one do one of those next, but this is a manual. I wanted people that didn't want to come to Tribe Sober or didn't want to go to AA or do a workshop. I wanted them to have a book that they could read and get their head around addiction and understand how it works. So I've enjoyed writing that. And the other
Oh.
thing that I've done recently is I've created an AI tool because
Oh.
I love AI and I chat to ChatGPT like every day. I call him Jake. My husband gets quite jealous. I'm talking to Jake again, and it's fascinating. And because I've been talking to him about Tribe Sober, asking him questions about my business, he knows a lot about Tribe Sober. So we have
Yeah.
good conversations, and I've created it's called a custom GPT.
Yes,
Do you know about those?
I
So
have
I've
heard
taken
about these. Yeah, I don't have one myself, but I'm
it's
fully
good.
aware. Yes.
So all I've done is I've taken all the content from my courses, put them in this GPT, which I've called Janet GPT, and now it's part of our membership. People
Oh,
get Janet
wow.
GPT. So if they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning feeling miserable because they fell off the wagon or something, they can
Oh,
just talk to
they,
Janet
they've got
GPT.
a virtual support system in the form of
Yeah, she's very
Janet.
sensible. She knows things I don't know sometimes.
Oh, that's the thing with AI though, right? It knows everything about everything. I think that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, harnessing the technology that we have available to
Mm,
us now and bolting it onto our businesses and using it in a way that feels comfortable and right to you.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's not going anywhere, is it? I think
no,
we've all got
it's
to.
a brilliant time, I think, to run your own business.
Yeah, yeah, and it's super easy to get up and running now because you can
Yeah,
literally type whatever you need or want or any advice that you require into whatever search engine or AI tool that you have available. And instead of spending hours and hours searching, or back in our day, Janet, going to the library and getting a
oof.
book. A
I
book
know,
now.
getting one book.
One, one book and having to just keep going through all the pages until you find the bit that's necessary. No, I love it. There's definitely a place for it. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I use it when I have to use it, and then I put it down because yeah, I have to stick my fingers in my ears sometimes and go, environment and all that kind of thing. And that there are pros and cons, but then that's true of everything, right? So.
Yeah,
It's just implementing it in a way that feels right to you and your business, I think.
exactly.
We're gonna have to say goodbye. I have
Yeah.
so enjoyed chatting to you and getting to know you better. Thank you for coming and sharing your story with me. It's really all of the ladies that come on and chat to me. You're all so inspiring. But I can't let you go without answering my two questions that I ask everybody at the end of each episode. So, my first question to you, lovely Janet, is there one thing that you wish you'd known before you became a business owner?
I wish that I'd known that everything doesn't have to be perfect before you launch.
I love that. I love that. But I can understand why you might struggle with it because I'm very similar to you.
Yes, I mean the weeks I spent fiddling with my website and things like that. And
Yeah.
really, I think the secret, or maybe that's your next question, isn't it? Is just to be consistent, to show up, be authentic, and be consistent.
Yeah, yeah,
With podcasting, I mean, some weeks I'm so busy and I think, oh, I haven't even done the podcast yet.
yeah,
But I will do it. If
yeah,
I'm up all night, I'll make sure it's out because once you get followers for your podcast, they expect it to be out in that slot. And if you're not there, then they'll go and listen to someone else and you'll lose them
exactly.
maybe. So
Exactly. I couldn't agree
consistency,
more. Yeah, no, I love that. One of my favorite sayings, which I've struggled with, I'm not going to lie, is done is better than perfect.
yeah,
And yeah, and just getting going, just start. If
yeah,
you're contemplating, putting your business out into the world and you're second guessing yourself and you are worrying about those critics, that those people that I was talking about earlier, what they're going to think, that fear of judgment holds you back, and just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You get it out into the
exactly.
universe, and then you can tweak as you go along, right?
Yeah, and don't wait for inspiration, just get started and then you'll feel inspired
This is
because it's
true.
action that triggers
Yeah,
those good
yeah.
feelings.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And consistency for the win across the board, like
Yeah,
literally everything that you're doing with your business. If you're posting on social media, be consistent. If you're sending out emails, be consistent. Because people, like you said, people do start to expect that email in their inbox at a certain day and time. They expect that episode to be available to listen to. So don't ever underestimate the power of what you're doing and the following that you're curating because very quickly you will start to pick up followers and people that really love hearing from you, whatever it is that you're
yeah.
doing.
I mean, you'll find your people.
Yes, your tribe. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And a final top tip that you could leave us with, maybe.
I think I've said
Okay,
them all. But
you've
the
you've
power
given me
of
everything.
community. Yeah, I mean your thing is great, your sisterhood, and just find people that are doing what you're doing that you can be absolutely yourself with, that you can be so vulnerable. One of the reasons why I love the recovery world so much is that there's no bullshit. Everybody is completely open because a lot of us have almost hit rock bottom, and we don't pretend. It's tribe sober meetings are the opposite to a cocktail party where everybody's showing off, and
Yeah,
talking about their new car and their big house. And
yeah.
I just love the reality of it, the rawness of it, really.
Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Finding rooms where you can be the
Yeah,
real you, authentic, genuine, and other people that are as well. So there's no
yeah,
airs and graces. So whether it is, finding support for your drinking or finding support for your business,
yeah.
whatever support it is that you need. Yeah, and sometimes it might be more than one room as well. I always say that with networking please come to our meetings. But actually, You probably need more than one room. You know, you'd need different groups of people for different things, for different support, that will give you different, yeah, different advice. So no, I love that. It's a great one to end on. Thank you again
Thank
so
you.
much.
Lovely
I
to
really,
meet you.
oh, and you, my lovely. Before I let you go, would you just tell everybody if they want to search you up online, find out more about Tribe Sober, where do they go?
Tribesober.com. The podcast is called Tribe Sober.
Nice and
We're talk
straightforward.
Yeah, I'm very searchable. I've made
Yeah,
sure of
very,
that.
very easy to find, people. And it will
Yes,
also all be in the show notes as well. So if you want to,
thank you.
yeah, have a little look and have a little read back, yeah, everything will be in there. But I'm wishing you all the very best for the future, the best of luck for the book. Obviously, you need to tell me when it's going to be so I can come.
Oh, you
I'm
must
really
come
looking
to the
forward.
launch. January, because everybody gives up drinking in January, don't they?
Yes, that's a great time to launch. Yeah, catch them whilst they're fresh out the box.
Yes.
No, no, really lovely to chat to you. You are amazing. I hope, yeah, you continue to grow Tribe Sober in a way that feels real and authentic to you. So thank you for taking the time to come to chat to me. And yeah, I will hopefully see you in January.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Janet. Bye.